I had one last question that I had, and it's kind of like probably take a couple seconds to think about. What's your favorite match that you've witnessed, been to, seen on TV live, or whatever you've seen it, and why was it your favorite match?
Well, fuck, man, that really narrows it down.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said I would ask it near the end of my questions, because I wasn't. This was the last one I had written down.
My favorite match I ever seen live in person was at a house show in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, and it was FTR versus right before they left the company versus Chad Gable and Bobby Roode, and that was the best match I've ever seen in person. They were doing like Motor City's move where they do like the neck breaker with the fucking frog splash combo. They were hitting that with like salts and shit, bro. Bobby Roode and Gable, they were wrestling like you could tell FTR they were wrestling like, bro, we're gonna steal this fucking show.
That's four professionals that would absolutely like before the match. Don't talk about anything else. Just we're gonna steal this. Yep. Yeah.
You see, those house shows are the best matches because they're just having fun.
Yeah, that was the best match I've ever seen in person. Like I'm talking indie. I'm talking like I've seen fucking Danielson. You know what I mean? Wrestle in person like before, like early, like years and years ago. So, Cody Rhodes on an indie, I've seen before he went to AEW or like AEW was a thing or anything. So, yeah, but to see this at a live event, fucking Bobby Roode and Gable versus FTR. That's got the best match I've ever seen.
Yeah, and house shows are just so much fun. That's one of those things where I really hope they really figure that out, that they need to at least keep some sort of house show market going, because the house shows are a great way to bring fans. Yeah, like it's just much more fun. Plus, it gets people to get the repetitions in, especially for the younger talent that hasn't gotten to get as much work in yet. So, yeah, I went to a house show probably 2.5 years ago was the last time I went to one, and it was so much fun. The most fun I've ever had at shows has been at the house shows for sure. Every time.
If you're close, sorry.
Are you close? Are you close enough in Edmonton to get enough people tours to come up there and stuff? Or
sorry, what are you asking me? Am I close enough?
Where you live, do you get a chance to go see live events? Is what I should have said to begin with.
I've seen a bunch. Yeah, I've been to TV and stuff. Yeah, I've been to AEW shows and shit when they come to Canada.
So you're kind of near Edmonton, basically, right?
I'm a bit of ways from there, actually. That's
okay.
A hefty drive for me. Yeah, but it's
I'm wrong.
It's not. It's I could do it. Like if I wanted to tonight, I could fucking go.
All right.
Yeah, but I'm just in buttfuck nowhere though. So, but I was gonna say though, because you asked me like the best match I saw on TV or pay-per-view or whatever.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. I mean, that's tough, right? Like I have a standout in my head, but to me the greatest match of all time. I'm with Cody Rhodes on I'm on Cody Rhodes' team and Chris Van Vliet's team when it was in Toronto. Speaking of Canada,
right?
It was fucking Hulk Hogan versus The Rock. WrestleMania. Yeah. That's the greatest match in pro wrestling history, in my opinion. Yeah. So
I mean, it's
right there.
Yeah, I mean, there's very few matches that I can like sit down and remember where I was and watching that, and like you didn't expect it to be the moment as big as it was. It's one thing when they build up a match or you build up to a main event with where it was on the card and just how that crowd made that match. It wasn't so much the specific match; it was that crowd were like, "No, this is what we're doing," and it was just an awesome time.
Another one would be the TLC. Right, with the Hardys and Edge and Janice Dudleys. Another one would be Jeff Hardy versus Undertaker on that Raw.
The ladder match?
Yeah, that was fucking, I just remember that, like, oh my God, that's one of the greatest matches ever at the time. Another one would be, let me think, RVD versus John Cena at One Night Stand.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Dude, and that finish, like when you look back, you're like, fuck, man, they almost could have did without that finish. But boy, at the time, man, the fucking heat that went on Edge for that shit. For coming out. Man, and just the heat on Cena, that was so cool. And another series of matches that I think are fucking brilliant, legit, are the Omega Okada matches in New Japan. Like, I think that series of matches might be one of the greatest, like,
Yeah, those I've actually seen.
they're fucking, they're really amazing matches, you know, but like
Yeah.
7-star,
They are.
I don't know all that, but I just remember each of those being like, holy fuck, you know, like just, I don't know. Those guys are so good. It's such a shame to see what Okada is now. Well, it's not really a shame because you know he's getting paid and he's just like, fuck it, I don't really care. But it just sucks to see him not care about wrestling.
Yeah.
You know, he is so good.
It just makes you sad. It's just like, oh.
It does.
Yeah, because the New Japan show used to come on Thursday after TNA, and I used to watch it, stay up late and watch that. And those were the reasons I stuck up late for it, was to watch the Kenny Omega Okada matches, and those were good, real good matches.
Absolutely.
I did enjoy them as well.
That was really all I had really seen of Kenny Omega before AEW had started, and that's why AEW first came around, I was really excited. I hadn't watched wrestling in about 4 years and got myself back into watching it, and then saw what they did and was, oh, okay, well, you want it to be good, it's just not.
Yeah. Would you call the turning point for AEW when they showed the backstage footage, or when they let Punk go, or both?
So what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? The turning point?
Well, there's a downfall that happens in AEW where they're at like 1 million per week, and then Punk is there for all that, and then Punk goes away.
Well, here's the thing.
And they're kind of leveling off, and then they kind of showed the footage, and then they went downhill. And
here's the thing, though: the 1 million per week, it didn't even last that long. Like that was done.
No, it didn't.
Punk showed up, and then Punk showed up, and then they did like a huge number that one show, and then it just sort of went back down, like below the million or whatever, and then it kind of just trended downwards. And yeah, because his storylines, even with Punk, like he was trying so fucking hard, but his storylines didn't really mean much, like near the end there. You know what I mean? It felt very like is he working with Hangman? Is he not? Is he, he's just jobbing to Moxley in 2 seconds? Okay. Sort of seemed weird. And then his last match with Samoa Joe might be the greatest one. Well, okay, Cody Rhodes versus Dustin Rhodes is the greatest AEW match of all time.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That fucking Joe Punk match is like number 2. I think that's the second best AEW match of all time. That was the best match on that All In show. Those guys were so fucking over, and they just crushed it, man. And I'm so happy I got to see fucking Punk Joe at that All In. But
yeah, because Punk already knew he was gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say the turning point. Yeah, that's. I would say where they officially just lost it, where it's like, okay, you're TNA 2. I would say Punk leaving the first time, not even the second time, because the first time is where they brought Punk back, and instead of doing the angle and showing the footage then and have him come back and go, fuck the Elite, fuck Kenny Omega, and get to like Punk and Omega and have the Bucks and FTR fight and all that stuff, you know, like the real, we were like, do Punk and FTR versus fucking the Elite now, like do that. We want
right there.
Heat. Everyone believes there's real heat between the Bucks and FTR. We know that Punk just got in a fight with the Bucks and Omega and shit. Just book that. Be men and do business. They would have started. That's where I would say is the turning point. Was the first time Punk had to leave because they had two choices. They could have either ran with it and actually started drawing 1 million viewers again and like actually being in the company. That would have changed the company for the better. If they had to just all work together, everyone would have been tuning in to see Punk and Omega and shit. Like, are they really going to shoot on each other in the ring? Everyone would have tuned into that shit, man. Everybody.
Even just the promos would have been great to watch.
Yeah, I think that would have put them in the conversation where there's no like, oh, NXT's beating AEW every week. I think AEW would have been, they'd be up there, like competing again in the millions of viewers if they had to just fucking went that route and listen to Punk and shit. But then they took the second choice, which was, we don't do anything with this. We flop this. And then
erase it.
They do the silly match where Kenny Omega bites the arm clearly on camera, and they poke fun at it and never do anything with it. And I still think William Regal was my point. Where if he'd let William Regal like be the silent hand behind Tony and actually like help him book and figure it out, and how they used Regal and how he left, like from that point, I knew there was never going to be any saving it. I want there to be. I would love to see it turn around and become an enjoyable program again. But every time I tune in, you can only watch it for so long before you're just like, all right, pass. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I just really thought if they they could have made the choice to be like, we're gonna fucking blow everyone away with this real work shoot feud. And instead of doing that, they just chose the other route. Like, no, we're going to try and bury it. And then that's where fans just went, fuck it, like, for the most part. But I think they could still be in the conversation as real competition had they just played that feud out. Or like, even when they did the blood and guts and then Punk pitched to them, he's like, let me fucking be in that match. And the Bucks didn't want it. They refused it, man. So it's all on them. Like, I don't care what anybody says. It's proven. It's verifiably proven that it's on the Bucks.
Yeah, and Tony for not forcing them to do it. Have a leader that's got some balls and some backbone and be like, no, this is what we're going to do. Well, we're not going to do it. Okay, you two are fired then, because Omega said he would have done it, and I believe Omega would have.
And like they showed another meeting prior to that. Like if people, the fucking guy who's supposed to pick Punk up from the airport's like the Bucks' best friend.
Right.
he fucking thinks he's an honorary Buck. Go on his Twitter. Like he calls himself honorary Young Buck. So this guy is who left CM Punk. Like this isn't all a coincidence. I'm sorry. Like I don't care if you love I love the Bucks too. Right? We talked about it earlier. Like I'm sure that's why George and fucking Jake didn't even really like my content because I fucking like the Bucks and shit too. Like I do. I tried defending them for so long. But just week to week, they got exposed being on TV.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
They were fine in indie shows, and when you only have to see like a video package or like they talk about things that you've done, but week after week, you realize it's the same stuff. I mean, that's what you've talked about it plenty of times. And so George and I about Ospreay, where he does everything he can do in every match, and it makes nothing is special. Everything's the same. You don't remember anything. What was the difference between that match and the one 2 weeks ago and the one 3 weeks from now? They're all the exact same.
Yeah, no, they got exposed. Like if it's not viral clips or like on indie shows over there, like, watch it here and there. Like, oh, there's a big New Japan show or oh, there's a big ROH show. Then just it's overexposed, you know, and then you just realize shit really doesn't work as good as those guys thought it would.
I remember like what I saw the most of is you'd see like a 5 to 7 minute clip of a 25-minute match, and that 5 to 7 minute clip was great. But then you realize in a whole match, it's just, you know, it drags on and they just keep doing the same thing and it doesn't go anywhere.
So we're to also assume that this book coming out from Keith Elliott Greenberg is not going to address any of this, right?
No. It'll address it, but it'll address it in the biased rewritten in the way AEW All Access addressed it. So for people who are saying they won't alter their history, they've already have.
They already have. Yeah.
People don't get like when I comment, man, they're not like Cody Rhodes and them aren't going to be interviewed. Okay, listen, I don't need to read it, right? They are not. You think they interviewed CM Punk for this book to get an updated, up to date his thoughts on the book? You fucking idiots! No! Like, and that's where the history padding comes in. And I've criticized WWE for the same shit. And I said it on my show. I'm sorry I didn't have a podcast when the rise and fall of WCW DVD came out, so I could bitch about that being fake. But the thing is this is what the same thing I criticized WWE for when they alter their fucking history and they try and it. It's the same thing they're going to do with AEW. How do I know? The AEW All Access TV show that focused on who? All the people on the front of that fucking goofy book and Cody Rhodes. But Cody Rhodes, I don't think he was focused because Cody Rhodes had Rhodes to the top. So he wasn't even on that All Access show. He was doing his own reality show. So that's what I'm saying. Like that reality show didn't even show Cody Rhodes. It didn't acknowledge him. It didn't acknowledge Punk either. The whole point of that reality show, the Bucks' whole storyline in that show is we're coming back from suspension and we got to get our trios titles back from those dastardly death triangle who took them from us while we were gone. Well, why were you gone? They don't mention it. They don't mention they got in a fight. They don't mention CM Punk. They don't mention that fucking any of that. So they already did this in a reality show. What makes you think they're not going to do the same with this? So they're going to talk about Brawl Out, but they're not going to talk about it like the way you're not going to get both sides of the story. Okay, it's going to be like a fluff piece. They'll probably be nice about Cody Rhodes, and they'll probably use quotes from Cody Rhodes before.
Right, exactly. They'll use the old footage.
Guarantee it. And they'll be nice about him and everything. But to think that it's going to be honest and true about their last 6 years, no, it's going to be a book going like, and in 2025, the cage match with Moxley and Joe got the highest rating of 2025. But it's not going to mention that since like the highest rating of 2025 is like less than half of what their rate, or like with half of what their ratings used to be. They're not going to talk about shit like that, which is fine. They don't have to. But when I point out that they're not going to do that, don't be fucking dumb and come at me and go, oh, did you read the book? How do you know? Did you read it? Did you read it? Shut up. I just pay attention to shit. This wouldn't be the first time I was right about shit like this either. So it's like, just shut the fuck up and enjoy the ride, goddammit.
They're the living embodiment of that meme of, I must go defend Tony, no matter what. No matter what's being said, I've got to defend. And they made their entire personality, you said it earlier, about it was the hatred of Vince and WWE, and so they kind of moved that into loving AEW, and now Vince is gone, but they can't get past where they were. They can't grow up to become adults, kind of like the Bucks couldn't decide to be adults and actually have the match with Punk and FTR. They did what they did and took a victory lap in front of 6,000 people that now would be in front of 600 people.
Yeah, was it even 6,000?
I don't know. I just know, but I know that was in Chicago, and that might have been when they still were doing decent. I felt 6 was like at least close to a guess, maybe. I don't know. Maybe, yeah. I don't know though. I know it hasn't been anything good for a long time.